gotta do new things, do new things. I don't wanna wait no more, wait no more. I don't wanna wait no more, wait no more. Me and destiny belong together. Can't be afraid of what's next for now. I don't wanna wait no more, wait no more. I don't wanna wait no more, wait no more. Me and destiny belong together. Can't be afraid of what's next for now. Maybe not top 10 correctly, that's naughty. But I got a soul inside of space hypnosis. Just a moment, but I'll take it over being a clone. If I'm thinking how I'm feeling, cause I'm never alone. Wait no more. It's like, boom, you got the keys. Just put it in the lock and go get it. Put it in the lock and go get it. Put it in the lock and go get it. Yeah. God is telling me, daughter, it's your time. I won't sit and wait. Because that right there is mine. I won't wait anymore. I don't wanna wait no more, wait no more. I don't wanna wait no more, wait no more. Me and destiny belong together. Can't be afraid of what's next for now. I don't wanna wait no more, wait no more. I don't wanna wait no more, wait no more. Me and destiny belong together. Can't be afraid of what's next forever. We used to cry to peace apart. About to keep it down. I'm a piece voice. I'm searching for a change till we are decorated. I need some rearrangement. I gotta work on me. 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 Before I work with you, I gotta work. But I did this. patience with myself. I wanna leave some this time. I'm seeking a rainbow. Will I find it? After the rain, I'm seeking a rainbow. Will I see it after the rain?
Good morning and welcome to by our meaning, Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast, very first seminar. We are here on all of our social medias, and yes, we are being recorded on Instagram and Facebook. We're going to follow the schedule that you're looking at now, and we're going to ask you, please, for all question and answer. We do have a section for that. If you have a question now, go ahead and put it in your chat box. You can even call in, and we're going to have the number on the screen while I say it. It's 661 503 8993. Welcome to Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast, our first seminar. By way of arrangement, we are going to start with our introductions. I am your host, Nisi, and I am a certified professional wellness coach. And yes, people, I've been to school for this. I live in Southern California, right in the desert, the most dustiest, windy part. And it gets cold this time of year and very, very, very hot. I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I am a retired educator working with the very young to the very old. 16 years of that. And the pandemic changed my life, because it wasn't until then that Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast was born. Yes, it was born there. And so for 3 years, we, as in my co-host and myself, have been doing this. And you can find us anywhere you're listening to your favorite podcast. Did I mention my age? I am 56. And let me tell you, 56 sneaks up on you really quick. Today is going to be an opportunity for any and all of you that are listening. I'm so very grateful to have given birth to this podcast program, as it deals with emotional and mental health. You know, a lot of times when people say, oh, mental health, like it's a, don't say that word. Really, we need you to focus in on you, your emotional and your mental health. When we had the change of the pandemic, it changed our dynamics of things. You remember the 6 feet apart, the mask wearing? How did that make you feel? I want you to think about that for a moment. I do think my time is up for the introduction. I'll be back. I want to introduce my amazing co-host, Treasure.
Good morning. My name is Treasure Scott, and some people know me as Trish, and I am the co-host of Vibetalk Facing the Lion podcast. I wasn't always the co-host. I was the assistant manager, and before that, I was just a listener. And as that progressed, I've learned lots of things, and I've learned to just interact with people, and it's been an amazing journey for me. And about me, I'm from South Carolina. That's where the good trees and the palm trees and the beautiful nature is at. Lots of woods and forests here. So if you want to go for a nature walk, this is the place for you. And I love where I live because, first and foremost, I am a family person. I have 16 brothers and sisters, and I am a homebody. So if you want to find me, I'm at my house with my fam. And I love music. I do music, a lot of music. Music is me. It is in me. It is from my parents, and they passed it down to me and the others in my family. And I always use it to the best of my ability to motivate people and show people that I can relate to their struggles and issues as well. When you hear my music, what I wish for you to hear is empowerment for yourself, motivation, and positivity. It'll put you in a good mood. I actually have a song called Good Mood. And my artist name is Queen Faya, QU33NFIY4. It will be in the chat box. I chose that name because I believe that I have the power over my music, and music gives me power. So it makes me feel like a queen, and it makes me feel like I have fire, which symbolizes passion, my passion for music and my love for motivating other people. So that is my introduction, and hopefully you love this seminar. I'm so excited for this seminar. I was nervous at first, but I'm very excited, and I hope you enjoy it.
Now back to me. Thank you for that, Trish. Isn't she amazing? She's a woman of empowerment. I've seen her change from not only my client, but there was something special about her. And when I think about changing, it has her picture next to the word change. We're going to talk about change. And as we talk about change, I want you all to leave here with something today, wherever you are, whatever you might be doing. We would like to hear from you. When I think of change, I think of modifying to make something bigger or to change the order of something. I'm going to tell you that I really like to use this so that we all understand change here today. Change or modify. We've seen that word. Where have we seen the word modify? Do you remember when we were all bringing home our DVD movies, and when you popped that movie in, it said before the movie started that this movie has been modified to fit your screen. How many of you have saw that? I would guesstimate that everyone listening in to this podcast today. Well, let's think about change. You brought home a movie. Think about your favorite movie. And when we were renting them or buying them, we expected to see what the title of that movie was. But now here you are with your DVD or DVD, and it has said that before the movie started. Is it the same movie? How many of you say yes? How many of you say no? Well, now, it is the same movie as you began to watch, but now we're focusing on the word modify. Modify to fit your screen. Modified to fit your life. How do we use that in our life? That derives from the word change. Same kind, newer or better, different, alter, and again, the word modify. Think about that. Now, on the program, you see the word transform. Transform. How do you use the word transformation? You know, we think about Transformers. How many of us have seen that movie, Transformer? Well, we notice what those robots could do. They could change in an instant to become something other than. They were built that way. How about you? Your form, your appearance, your behavior, your attitude, your mindset, your soul set. Has it been altered? Has it undergone change? Change. We think about so many words that comes with transformation. Transformation, reshaping, remolding, reorganizing, rearranging. One or more of you that is listening to this podcast this morning has done that. You've moved your furniture. You've reshaped your life. You have evolved into something better than you were the day before, the month before, and the year before. Transformation. Now we move on to the word adaptation, which still is in the category of our changing. Think about this. The need to change a behavior. And as you change the behavior of yourself, you are now ready for a purpose Or have you noticed? By now, you should be asking yourself, what is my purpose? Circumstances help us to adapt as we find our way through this journey of life. We learn to adjust. We learn to format. I don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen, but the only insect, although not limited to change, because there are others, scientific creatures that are able to change. When I first started doing Vibe Talk as its host, I thought about that and I researched. And I ask that all of you research scientific fact. I could not help but to think about the adaptation of the caterpillar. Let me start by asking all of you, how many of you have read The Very Hungry Caterpillar? I'm going to ask you another question. How many of you have read The Very Hungry Caterpillar to your children? Some of us roll our eyes and say yes over and over and over and over. But now, did you really read so as to pay attention? Because that book is all about the adaptation of the caterpillar. Beautiful example of that little furry thing that it becomes into something blossoming and beautiful and free. If you think today that you've read The Hungry Caterpillar or Very Hungry Caterpillar, I'd like for you today to go and purchase that book if you don't already have it. You say, Miss Nisi, that book is a childhood book. I said childhood. Now think about this. In our childhood is when a lot of changes happen. We grow up into adults. Now the kind of adult that you're going to turn out to be is going to be solely up to you if you follow adapting to what has been your life over the course of years. You see, the caterpillar had to eat, and by that eating metaphorically meant to nourish itself. Scientifically, think about that. You see, our creator was very smart because he watched over that very hungry caterpillar. So when we think of ourselves as caterpillars, are we taking care of self? Or are we so busy not getting the nourishment, but thinking that we have the answers to nourish everyone else but ourselves? Think about this. The caterpillar scientifically being fed. That represents our taking in nourishment. our being able to love ourselves. You see, because the caterpillar didn't know it was supposed to love itself, but yet was being taken care of. So he ate and ate and ate. You remember that part? All the things that he ate, you guys could probably name by heart. Perfect childhood book. And I've read it so many times. But it wasn't until I realized the change that had been made to the world, the change of COVID-19, and what it would mean to so many people like you and I. The world was not prepared for that. Did you nourish yourself? Did you find that in the lifetimes of you going through so many emotional and mental changes that you couldn't be with your loved ones, but that you were learning to take care of yourself in addition to your loved ones that lived with you because we weren't able to connect? Why is that? Because we had to adapt. We had to do what is called adaptation and transformation. We had to change something in life. And so we did that. But along the way, some of us didn't really know how to cope. But you saw on social media's live concerts, some of your favorite artists were doing that. Did you ever think about why they were doing it? Because they didn't have to put on a free concert, but they were doing that to survive. There's still a need to modify, change, adapt to the living world. Unfortunately, we lost some because they just couldn't take it. They just couldn't take the mental stress, the change that had come about. But you see, they too are human. But now I want you to think about the caterpillar and all that he ate and how it began to scientifically come about beautiful changes. It lived, it survived on the environment, scientifically, that is. And what did it become? Well, you heard me say the very hungry caterpillar. It ate so much that it was preparing itself for something that they didn't even know. It didn't even know that it was going to change. But yet, it grew and blossomed into a very beautiful butterfly. Now, if you've seen butterflies, we see all kinds. And if you're into science, I want you to really think about the butterfly. In particular, their wings. Butterfly wings. Think about that. So delicate. And yet, it's able to modify, adapt to its newfound circumstance. Life altering, life changing. And one that butterfly is ready to be freed, nothing stops it from its beautiful change. You see, the butterfly doesn't revert back into the caterpillar. Its life-changing environment, life-changing freedom allows it to free and adapt and transform throughout any situation. What I found that was really amazing to me is that the butterfly could even fly even if it has a tear in its wings. Those tears, metaphorically to you and I, are the storms of our lives. Change. Are you resisting it? Or are you welcoming change? Are you learning to adapt? Or are you still at the caterpillar stage? I leave you to focus on never giving up. You see, that's what happened with vibetalk. It was born to help people to think about never giving up. Life changing it has been when we get callers. And by the way, if you guys want to call in, our number has been posted, 661-503-8993. You can also leave your messages on our podcast line on Spotify. Tell us what you think. We've talked to people, and I came up with something that if I were to affect one person at a time every day for 365 days, just one, that would be 365 days that I have helped someone to change their lives, including my own. Because you see, when you help someone else, you are in turn helping yourself. But the issue here is change. We are talking about positive change. Many of you have been through life-altering changes where life is like it never is before, but you have remained a beautiful butterfly throughout it. You've got through the stages of where you've had to nourish yourself or where you've had to cry, and believe me, crying is healing. So when people tell you don't cry, you ask them why. Why are you telling me not to cry? Because you need to cry, even though life has seemingly felt broken. I leave you with this thought to ask you, are you a caterpillar or a butterfly? And as we meet together today for the very first time in a seminar, what life changes have affected you? We want you to think about what has caused you not to change, if that is presently your circumstances. We want to encourage you not to give up, because if you did, you would have a lot. to lose. We are going to move on. If any of you are wondering how to find us, our Facebook, our very own page, is at vibe-talk. Now, you've heard enough from me, but now I would like you to hear from our co-host, my amazing co-host, and I look forward to always doing work with her because she's very creative, very wise, and has something to say. She is whom I have chosen for testimonial. And I'll tell you why. Even though I've worked with many clients, she has done her homework. Trish?
To start off, I decided to go over the 3 songs that I played at the beginning of the event. And I chose them because they have lyrics that I wrote because of my change, and I saw how my change was evolving. Because when I do my music, I reflect as I do it to see how much I've changed. And the first song was Work on Me, and that is the beginning of my story, is working on me. And the lyrics are, we used to click like 2 peas in a pod. Vibes are different now. I'm going to put us on pause. I'm searching for a change. Interior decorating. I need some rearrangements because I have to work on me. So these lyrics, if I break them down, these lyrics are talking about me talking to myself, saying, the old me is not working for me. I have to do something new. I need to change. I need some work done. It's like if I look in my bedroom and I don't like the flooring on my rug, I have a choice to whether change it or just keep complaining and saying, I don't like this color. I don't like how this rug looks. It's up to me to decide whether I want to change it or not. And that's what I had to do for myself in changing on not liking who I saw in the mirror. There are a lot of things that I went through in my life, but a very big trial in my life I went through was self-hatred and low self-esteem. And that built from a lot of negative sayings and thoughts from other people. And I kept hearing it from other people, and I started to believe it. You know, the saying where if you hear something long enough, you start to believe it. And that's what developed that mindset for me. But as I got older, I decided I don't want to live in this turtle shell anymore. I don't want to wear these same clothes anymore. I want something different. And because I did that, I was searching for hope, and that transitions into the other song called Rainbow. Now, this song is talking about when I was going through depression and sadness and self-doubt. I was seeking for some sort of positivity or some sort of hope. And the lyrics read, I've got a lot of growing to do, and it's going to take some time. I don't have patience with myself, but I'm going to need some this time. I'm seeking a rainbow. Will I find it after the rain? I'm seeking a rainbow. Will I see it after the rain? I need my rainbow. The rainbow symbolizes hope. The hope I needed to motivate myself and build myself up into being the person that I am now. And it was not easy. This is 3 years worth of work, guys. So I am still a work in progress. But it took a lot of work to do because I had to want to change. I had to actually ask myself, am I ready for this? Do I really want to be a better me? Do I want to be happier? Or should I stay used to just being sad all the time and being depressed all the time and seeing myself as there's always something wrong with me? When I have a good day, there always has to be something wrong. If it's a good day, oh no, this isn't right. And I had to realize that. And so in that search of, I don't want to feel this anymore, I need something bigger, I need something better, I feel like there's more to me than I see in me. I was in quarantine during the pandemic, and I was on the app and I was searching for something to motivate me. I was looking for motivation and I saw Vibe Talk. I don't remember the topic, but I do remember it was on a Wednesday. It was Wednesday Wellness. And I was thinking, wow, well, I am searching for wellness, and that matches my thought and what I needed, so let me click on it. And because I clicked on it, I stuck with it. Now, it was a challenge for me to stick with it because a part of me said, is this for me? Or do I need to find something else? It's like working out. Do I stay consistent and keep on doing these exercises? Or am I just going to give up on the first week and say, oh, I'm too tired, I can't go on with it? But I kept going and I kept pushing myself because I saw the change in me, and because I felt like this next song, the last song, Wait No More, and the lyrics read, some way or somehow playing it safe isn't what I want anymore, meaning sticking to who I used to be and just sticking to what I know. That's not, it wasn't cutting it for me. It wasn't doing it for me anymore. Time for some change if I'm looking for some results in my life, meaning I know I need to change at this point if I'm looking for something different, if I'm looking for something new in my life. Next, it says, change isn't easy. It takes some strong, hard effort to get where you want to go. And I needed to have the strength and have the effort and have the motivation to change into who I am now. And it takes a lot of strength. It is not easy. And the lyrics, the last line says, if you want to see new things, you have to do new things. And that's what I had to do. I had to continue to motivate myself. And because I did that, I started to see that my music changed. Because my music symbolizes who I am. All of my music does. So the fact that I had to do that to switch and see my transition in my personality and my character and who I am and how I take care of myself and love myself. It took a long time, it took a while, but I'm here and I'm also learning every day to be patient with myself, being very patient with me and developing and getting used to my evolving into who I am now. And every day I learn something new about me. And that's something that I had to get used to when I came to Vibe Talk. It's something I had to get used to because every day or some days I think I know me and then we talk about a topic and then I say, "Oh, I thought I had that together. It looks like I don't." And that's okay. I had to realize that's okay. It just means that I need to work on me, and that's okay. So my change came from self-hatred and low self-esteem to being who I am now, which is motivating myself and uplifting myself and being my own supporter in who I am as a person. And sometimes I think about because I changed, I saw the atmosphere around me change, meaning the people that I used to hang out with, they don't hang out with me anymore because I'm new me. And that doesn't mean that I'm wrong. It just means that they rather somebody else, and that's okay. They rather a person. They rather the old me, how I used to act, and that's why in one of the lyrics in "Work on Me," I said, "They may not like me, but I did this for me," and that's important. Changing for myself was important. I couldn't change for anybody else because to me, if I changed for somebody, it wouldn't mean a lot to me. I would just be doing it for their validation. It wouldn't be as important for me. So that's my story in my change and how I am using my wings and being the butterfly that I am. Thank you.
Wow. We call that simple lion power, to be able to make a testimony about yourself. You know, many people today do their testimonials because they want to flatter people. They want to make people believe. But when you do your own testimony to your life and find out how your life has been modified, how your life has been transformed, and how you are adapting to become that beautiful butterfly, you're able to get through. You're able to grow strong. Now, I want to talk about for a moment, because we're going to go to a question and answer in case anyone has a question or wants to ask us something. I want to talk about for a moment the ironic, the irony of the butterfly and the caterpillar. If anyone has ever looked closely at that squiggly, hairy worm, it's fat. There's no doubt about that. Why? Because it nourished itself and it needs to do that in order to do the change above that we talked about. It has steps it has to take. I've never saw in my entire life while it was green or black, a caterpillar that was skinny and starving. And if you have, let me know. Why are we talking about this? Because Trish said something that was very important. She talked about her self-caring. Meaning, do you care about yourself enough to put in the work? I'm hoping in the coming years that we are able to transform ourselves into the people that we would like to be, instead of changing ourselves into people that want us to be the people that we're changing for. Change for ourselves. See, I don't think the butterfly is aware, or the caterpillar is aware of what's going to happen while it eats its way through life. And I'm not encouraging you to eat your way through life. I'm just simply saying to fly your wings. Expectation. There should be more people for such a beautiful arrangement of Vibe Talk, emotional and mental health. You see what's wrong with the world we live in today? It is characterized by what the people say. That means if you come to Vibe Talk, that must mean that you're mental, or you're crazy, or you're depressed, or you want to kill yourself. Though that may be, I want you not to ignore the fact that even the tiniest caterpillar is expected to change. We're not living in a world where everything is taboo. We live, ladies and gentlemen, in a world where everything is in the open. So let's not taboo change of the mindset, the heart and soul set, how we feel, how we think. Let's not taboo that. Why does everything have to be controversy? And that's what Trish and I have been working really hard on, is keeping our podcasts less controversial. That's a chance where you have the opportunity to not only not give up, but gain something. Gain your wings. And I always say this when I'm teaching a class, or in group, or individually. Many people say, you've gained your wings in death. I always wonder, why do people say that? Because you can gain your butterfly wings in life. You see the change and the transformation. Let's start living. Another reason, too, is why we have created vibetalk is for so many other reasons. We have created vibetalk because so many people don't expect. That is, so many people don't expect life to become better, mindsets to become better, nourishment, anyone to love them, anyone to listen. This is what we're doing. And yet, so many people avoid Vibe Talk. And I'm going to tell you some real raw facts. A lot of people may avoid it because Vibe Talk helps you. You, the very hungry caterpillar, to feed, nourish, get free from your circumstances of hurt, pain, guilt, shame, this, that, and the other. And you see, it creates in you live feelings. Trish said that very well. It creates in you, why do I feel this way? When did this start? How do I overcome it? I don't know if she recognized that, but she was able to tell you very forthrightly what she overcame. How many of you are able to say that you overcame that? Or are you still afraid? Are you still in the caterpillar stage? You're afraid. You're afraid to be able to talk about the things that have hurt you, the things that have wounded you deep inside. Because we don't take it for one moment that you don't like us. We take it as many of you are afraid. You think you have all the answers. You don't, and we don't. But we are here to motivate, inspire, help you to help yourself, and most of all, to challenge yourselves. There's been many challenges. But now, when we think about challenging ourselves, you see, even the very hungry caterpillar challenged itself. It ate and ate and ate and ate and ate, and so on and so forth. That it didn't know it had the challenge of growing. It had to grow in order to become the butterfly. Where is your sense of growth? Because I want to tell you right now, don't fool yourself. This was not on the program, as you see. That's what I like about us doing our podcast in our seminars. We're keeping it to an hour for you, but we want you to stop resisting change, that is. Because you see, the green caterpillar, the fuzzy black caterpillar, they were the same, but their changes were modified. You see a green, hairless, creepy bug, you say yucky to, I say yay, because in a few days, it's going to have fuzz all over it. And we don't know if that change hurt or not. What we do know is the beauty of that butterfly and what it had to do in order to become free. I ask of you today to free yourself from your pain. See, it's things like this that help you and I to be able to look at where we are today. Trish did not get paid for that testimony. We want to have so many more, and we do have so many more. And if you haven't heard our podcast yet, we're going to encourage you to find our podcast. We already know that you will hear this podcast. And one or more of you are going to like the podcast. And you're going to change somewhere, somehow, before the year is over. You're going to change into a beautiful butterfly. Change is inevitable. We all must change. Change our ways, our attitude, our ability to be better than we were yesterday. Now, I just gave you one of my scenarios why a lot of people may not pay attention to Vibe Talk, because no one's ever asked of them the questions we're asking. You all say you're interested in learning more about it. Trisha just told you that it changed her life. See, Trish moved from a client to now a co-host. And it wasn't overnight. The reason she did that is because she wanted to. We have time for questions and answers. And if you have questions or answers, if you're not here yet, as we wrap up our podcast seminar, our very first one that is, we want to ask of you if you have any questions that you'd like to ask that are relevant to our discussion today. We would love to hear from you. Our podcast every day has a way for you to be able to speak out. We don't have all the answers. We're not doctors. We're not medically trained. But here's what we're here for: to hear you, to let you know that someone has listened. You see that 365 days for one person every day turned into 3 years where someone around the globe heard us. I challenge you to change. Stop resisting change. Because if you were to come to Vibe Talk or listen to one podcast, and I want to strongly encourage you, because you see, even my changes, I had to go through the butterfly effect. I was once a caterpillar, not sure if I wanted to. I wanted to what? You see, as a thinking person, I too was going to give up on life. And I'm going to be very frank with you. I wanted to harm myself and end my life. And I'm so glad that there were people in my life that helped me to understand why living doesn't hurt. You see, it's the process of us going through our lives that may have hurt us, that may have wounded us. But once I got it out and got the help that I needed, I moved from the caterpillar. And yes, I was a very hungry caterpillar. I had to do the work to get to where I am today. And I want to ask you the first question in our Q&A. Would you like to get help? Because I can't make you, Trish can't make you, nobody can make you until you are very hungry and humble for help. You have to be humble. You have to say, I want help. We help people of all sorts. Just from inspiration. Do you want the help? And if you're going through any kind of wounds right now, stop eating yourself alive. Stop torturing yourself. Stop feeding yourself with guilt and shame. Start feeding yourself because you are hungry. You're hungry enough because you want to get rid of the pain. Stop feeding the pain. You've had a testimonial today. You've had an introduction. You now know where we are. And many of you knew about this particular seminar. But you said, not interested, too early. That doesn't fit or adapt to my lifestyle. But what you didn't know is that you were going to learn something today. My second question is, did you learn anything? Because somebody is going to be very grateful for this. Somebody's life is going to be saved by this today. I can almost guarantee it. See, we don't want you to just click on our message. We want you to sit down. We want you to go into your private places, your homes, your cars, and we want you to have a listen. We have made every means possible that you and I will be able to talk. And if we aren't feeding you what you need to be fed, we'll give you resources. Because, see, we're aware as human that the very hungry caterpillar needs to eat, needs to be nourished, needs to be a human again. Why? Because you have something to gain. Remember how I talked about never seeing a skinny caterpillar? That representation of you being able to see that caterpillar fat, he had something to gain. For if he wasn't a fat caterpillar, he would not be nourished enough to turn into the butterfly. He needed nourishment. Now, I'll bet you will never think about the butterfly effect the same way again. You will never look at a caterpillar the same way again. This is why this is one of my favorite things to talk about, because we see change. I don't doubt for 1 minute, I'm going to say this to Trish, none of this is rehearsed, that Trish is going to go back to self-hatred again. She may struggle with that, and I may struggle with that, but see, we are no caterpillars. See, as humans, we have a choice. We are butterflies. So I say to you in this message, take your wings and fly, butterfly. Do you have any questions, Trish? Or anything you'd like to ask?
But I do have something to say. I guess it is a question for listeners later on. If they have anything.
You're going in and out.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Say it all again, because you're going in and out.
I was saying that I do have a question for the listeners that are going to listen later. A question I have is for the listeners is, what would it mean to you if you did take the chance to change? How would it
There's some
just
feedback. You're going in and out. Can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you.
You were going in and out. Want to repeat that again?
Yes. I would say that how would it benefit? I'm asking the listeners, how would it how would change benefit them in their life, and what would it mean to them? That's all I have to say.
Yeah, you were still going out. We sometimes have technical difficulty. Trish, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, she asked, how would it benefit you having the opportunity to take the chance to change? Was that it, Trish, or did I say that correctly?
Yeah.
Okay. We want you guys to take this and listen to it as families, listen to it as couples, listen to it. Use it in your teaching programs, teachers. Use it in your academy programs. I love education, so I will support any education. Please use it because our young minds and some of our older ones, we need this today. If you have questions or answers, Trisha's put all the information for you. We don't just stop here. Although this is our very first seminar, we are going to be doing others. We're excited. And we did this as a live. We want to hear back from you guys. And I want to say thank you to Trish. I want to say thank you to the audience that listened. We are recording this. And in case you're wondering, this doesn't cost you anything but your time. If you want, or if you care to, we will always accept your donations. Because why? It's going to help me and help Trish with our vision to be able to help people that need emotional and mental nourishment. It's going to help us guide them to those professionals. This is just a start to help think about our mindset. And we hope that this has helped. We have come to the end of our seminar, and we'd like for you to tell us how we did. What do you think, Trish? How did we do?
I think we did great.
Yeah. I think our message was clear. Was there any point, and we're using this for our Q&A since we don't have anybody at the moment, but if you happen to hear this, really listen. There were some strong points for me that triggered me. Was there any for you, Trish, that may have triggered you during our words today?
Yes.
Yeah. I I could truly feel when you talked about the self-hatred because I was there and I know how that felt, and to self-destruct. I didn't want to really end my life. What did I really want to gain? my butterfly wings. Thank you, everyone, for listening to our very first seminar. We'd love for you guys to tell us what you thought. I put it even on my personal page. We will record this. You will hear it in our YouTube channel and on our podcast. It is recorded. Thank you. And we hope that you will fly your wings, because change is possible. Have a good day, everyone, and we will see you soon. Thank you.